just wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else comes in, and we will get started very shortly. We'll just wait. I'm really excited to be here today, sharing with you some things that we are doing. And I hope this is good for you as well. Okay, let's get started, I guess. Hello and welcome to our first ever Modern Musings Plan With Us live session. We are so excited to be here today, and I am really excited to share with you some of our planning techniques that we use that help us create a better life for ourselves. And I hope that you'll get a little bit out of this as well. I am your hostess, Cindy Murray. I am one of the 3 hostesses of our Modern Musings podcast. If this is your first time joining us, either on any of our platforms, we are a podcast hosted by 3 women, and we're all about helping each other live our best lives. And we have a podcast that is available on Apple, Google Play, any of those places where you get your podcasts, and we invite you to check it out. We also have a blog, which is modernmusings.net, and that is where we post all of our supplemental material, which includes 3 blogs every week, usually related to the topic of the podcast. But everything that we're about is empowering everyone to do what they can do best and to make the best out of their lives. And so we actually have had some questions about how we use our planners and our PowerSheets and our one little word to cultivate our best lives. And I am really excited to share this with you because we've been talking about planners and one little word and our PowerSheets and tending lists for several months now. And if you don't know what those are, you can go to our blog at modernmusings.net, or you can go to the podcast and hear all about it. But these are just great goal setting tools to help us. And we're sometimes kind of new at some of these things, but we love sharing what we've learned with you because someone else shared it with us, and we like to pay it forward. So one of our listeners had a question about it. So Christen and I thought we would share our little process because if you don't know, Christen and I are mother and daughter. I am the mother, just in case you wondered, but we plan together every week because we often find that our household plans interconnect. And so in order to make sure that we're not scheduling things on top of other family events or whatever, we like to plan together. And so we just kind of get on Zoom and do this really relaxed all day. It takes us all day, but we're really just chit-chatting and talking about life in general or whatever, and being very creative in that process. And so this is kind of what we're going to show you how we do this. And it really is very simple. And I hope I don't overwhelm you with too much information. We are going to leave everyone muted for the time being. That way I can just get through the presentation. And then once the presentation is over, we will unmute everyone and you can ask any questions that you have or whatever. But if you have a question that comes up in the meantime, you can use the chat feature on the Zoom, and Christen is monitoring the chat. so she can alert me to any questions that might be immediately relevant. And otherwise, we'll hold those till the end, and then we'll work our way through those. So what we're going to talk about today is how to use the tending lists, how to use the calendars, how to use our planners. And it's going to be a very condensed version. And we're only going to do 1 week at a time. And some of my stuff is already done just to make this go a little bit faster, because like I said, this is a very leisurely Sunday activity for us, and we don't have all night to do it here. So I just thought we'd get that ready. But we'll start there, and I think it's time to get started. So one of the things that I like to do, as you can see over here, I have a little menu thing, or a weekly list here, and I've got my menu for the week already planned out over here, because I like to put the menu on the refrigerator so that everybody in the household knows what is coming up for family dinners. And that way, if I happen to not be there, they can go on and start the dinner, get it ready, or whatever. And I do it on this little thing instead of a hand, or a computerized thing or a bulletin board or whatever, because I'm trying to learn how to do hand lettering. And as you can see, it's a little bit messy, but this has come a long way from where I started. So I like to do this every week. And one of the things I like to do is I have this little clipboard here, and I've got all my stuff on it right now. And I like to gather everything together. And this will help me just find everything at a glance. And so one of the first things I do is I print out my computer printout of my calendar on my computer. And I usually do 2 weeks at a time. So I've got this coming week, which starts May 2nd. As I mentioned, Christen and I usually do this planning on Sunday, but because we wanted to present it to you, we thought we'd do it on Friday. And but normally we would do this on Sunday for the following week. And then I also print out the other week. And that way, if I think of something, or if something doesn't fit onto my calendar this week, like I have too many things and I need to postpone it, I can go ahead and write it on the calendar for next week. And then it's ready when I start planning that week. So, and I won't forget about it. And I will tell you, I am very ADHD, so I forget all kinds of things. And this is the best way for me to plan things, because I catch things that I might have forgotten, and having it all on paper in a planner is the best way for me to make sure that I get everything done that I need to. So I also have this little checklist here. This is a handmade checklist, and I've mentioned this on the podcast and the blog before. I believe this was on the cleaning checklists podcast. And I created this little list myself. I hand drew it, scanned it into Photoshop, and then I actually just print this out directly onto the page of my planners. I just pull this little page out, stick it in my printer. It does not have any problems with the disc bound holes or anything like that. It goes right through the planner, and it almost looks like a hand printed thing every time. Now the words themselves are actually hand printed, but all the lines and the check boxes and all that are just run through the printer. And I think I have those available as a download on the website for that cleaning checklist week. And I will also add it to a blog post for this week, so that you can download that as well if you're interested in having that. Now, so the first thing that this does, this is my Sunday process right here. And you can see I just set up for every week, every Sunday of the month. And I go through these and I just check off the things as I do them. So my first thing is always to do the menu, which actually is a lie, because the first thing I do is print off this calendar. And then I look at this calendar to see if there is anything on here that is going to change or affect my menu. Very often I have meetings in the evening, or my husband has scout activities. He is a Boy Scout leader. And so I want to make sure that those things are on my calendar, and I pay attention to those things before I plan my meals, because there's nothing I hate worse than getting to Tuesday evening and I'm trying to plan my meal, or I've already planned my meal, and I find out that I forgot about a meeting that I had and I can't cook that dinner. So I want to know about it ahead of time. I want to be prepared for it and plan accordingly. So this week I actually already took the liberty of planning my meals, because I looked at it and I saw I really don't have anything going on in the evenings. You can see my calendar is pretty blank this week, which is actually kind of surprising for me, because it's usually really full. But what I will do is then I will, after I've decided what I'm going to cook, I will write those things in on this list, and I will put this on my computer or on my refrigerator. And then that way everybody has it. And then I will also write it on this calendar, because this is my dump list, or, where I just brain dump everything that I need to plan for this week right onto this form. And then I will come back later and sort it all out to the right place in my planner. So I know that Monday we're probably going to do takeout, because that is a house cleaning day for me. And I want to just not have to cook after I've been scrubbing toilets. So, just a thing. So, and I also know that I have HelloFresh coming this week. So we're going to do HelloFresh, and we're having beef taco salad. And like I say, I just write these on here just so I know as I'm planning. This will eventually go into my planner, and it's already gone onto my checklist here that goes on the refrigerator, so that everybody else can see it too. And we're going to have some shrimp scampi. And I have not had that one from HelloFresh yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It sounds good. And then on Thursday, that is one of my craft days. And so I Zoom with a lot of my friends, and we often craft and Zoom late into the night. And I don't like to cook. I don't want to have to get up and cook. So I'm going to make that Mark's choice, and he can either cook, or he can do takeout again, or whatever he wants to do. And that is up to him. And then on Friday, I have no Mark. He is actually going to go do some kind of training with Boy Scouts or something like that. So it's just going to be me. And I will often note that, or if I'm the one that's not going to be there, I'll say no Cindy. And then that way my husband knows that he can just go do whatever he wants for dinner. And I had a little note on here, as you can see. I was thinking about salad and go. So I may do that on that night, or I may put it over here. I'm not sure, but that is one of the tempting little dishes that I would like to go eat out. So that is how I do my meal planning. And that's kind of just a start of that, but it really gets me going for my week. And that's, to me, the meal is the family meals, the planning of that is like the basis of everything, because if you don't plan around that, everything else can just get flummoxed. So I want to plan that very, very carefully. So after I do that, then I know that I can plan my groceries. And I actually started a little grocery list here, and like I say, I keep these all on this little clipboard. But as you can see, I'm not cooking this week, so I don't have very much on here. And I won't go grocery shopping until Tuesday, but by starting this list early, I already know what things I need to buy. I can keep adding to this list until I go, and I will just keep it on my clipboard until the day that I go grocery shopping. And then when I go grocery shopping, I put it on my clipboard. And I also have a copy of my planner page that tells me what errands I'm running and in what order, so that I don't forget to make any of my stops. So there's that. And that's really a lot of the basis of my planning. The other part of it comes from, well, I actually do one other thing before I get to that. Going back to my little tending list here, I also look at my prescription refills, because by looking ahead, I won't run out. So I always go on my errand day, which is Tuesday, to buy my groceries, to go to the bank, to go to the pharmacy or whatever. And so I will put on there to check my meds to see if I need to reorder anything. And I always make sure that I have a 1 week cushion, a minimum 1 week cushion of medications when I reorder my medication. That way I don't ever run out and I'm not ever stranded without any. And so I've already done that, and I've placed my orders for my refills. So I will write on my calendar here that I need to stop at CVS and pick up my prescriptions. And easy as pie, I know I have to do that, and I'm ready to go with the rest of my planning. So I'm going to check off, since I've done the menu, I've done the grocery list, and I've done the refills. I'm going to check those off, and then we'll move on to the next thing. And this is how I track whether I've done everything. By having this list of all the things that I know I need to do, I can easily make sure that I get them all done. Now, one of the things that's really great about doing the PowerSheets is that PowerSheets has this great thing called a tending list. And I'm going to show you my current tending list first. If you are unfamiliar with the PowerSheets, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to the podcasts and read the blogs about it, and then go check it out on the Cultivate What Matters website, because this is probably the greatest goal planning system I have ever seen. Now, this is basically a very glorified to-do list. And what it is I've taken the goals that I've planned for myself for the quarter or for the month or for the year, whatever, and I break them down into tiny, tiny, tiny steps. Now, this looks like a lot of stuff, but a lot of it is very tiny steps. And so what I've done is made this plan. This is for the whole month of April. And so you can see I have quite a few little items on here, but I've almost finished quite a few as well. All of these orange items have to do with a renovation project that we started, and we finished it, but we hadn't quite finished moving all of our furniture back into place, putting the knickknacks back on the shelves, hanging up the photos, things like that. So as we go along, I made those actual goals for this month to get those things done. And as you can see, I've just kind of gone along and made a little jagged line that shows that I have done those things. And I'm almost done with all of those. So I will probably finish those either tonight or tomorrow. And then that will be complete, and it will be off of my tending list forever. Now, some of these you can also see that I have not done anything on them. One of my things was to clean out my file cabinet in getting prepped for my taxes, and has not happened. I had family come into town, all kinds of things like that. And that's one of the nice things about doing a tending list and doing a Cultivate What Matters, is that it helps you judge what is important right now, what you really need to work on. And I had company come into town, and as I looked at it, I thought, you know what? Cleaning out that file cabinet is not the big thing right now. It can wait till next week. It can wait till next month. It will get done, but I don't have to worry about it right now. At the first of the month, it was a plan, but now I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to beat myself up for not finishing it. It's just going to be there. And there's other things on here as well that have not happened. And then there are some fun things that did. Went on a date night. I try to have a date night with my husband every month, where we go out and just do something very leisurely and connect, just the two of us. And that's not connected to anything else in the family, and not connected to our house. So, and then I also went on a camping trip with the girlfriends. That was a great thing, but it had a bunch of planning that went with it. And so it was one of my goals. And so there it is. I completed it. These are the monthly items, and they're usually like a one-off thing or bigger projects that take the whole month. And so I just kind of work through those as I can. And sometimes I schedule little bits and pieces of those, but I'm not just freaking out if I don't get them done. These are my weekly action items. So these are the items that I set up for this week specifically that I wanted to get done. And some of them are like the bookkeeping thing. You can see up here, I also had accounting and data entry on here. And I just really didn't get anything done there. So I decided to just not worry about it. I cross it off. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. Now, Modern Musings, we've had our podcast going every week. We've had blogs. So I track my progress with those. You can use these in any way you like. These just happen to be the things that I work on and that I want to track. So you can see there's some things that I have not done and there's some things that I have. These are daily items that I use in my PowerSheets, and everybody does different things on their daily items. These are the things that I sometimes either forget to do, or I find it challenging, or this is a challenge for me to do it. So the bookkeeping, I'm kind of challenging myself to do a little bit of bookkeeping every day. As you can see, this month was a total failure on that part because I only worked on it like 2 days out of this whole month. But it's on there. It's a constant reminder to me to do it. And eventually that will become a habit for me. And my email, I'm not always good about clearing out all my emails. So there's that. And then, there's a lot of different things there. So this is how I set my goals. And then these become action items on my planner. And so one of the things that we want to do as I'm doing my planning is to look through these and find any things that I need to schedule on my planner. So I'm going to look on here and I see, actually, before I do that, we are looking now at next week, and next week starts a new month. So I've set up this new tending list, which has all new things on it. And so I'm going to start finding little actionable items that I can do that I can add to my tending list. So I know that I need to do Modern Musings content. So I will plan, and I'll show you how I do that in a little bit, what days I'm going to make Modern Musings content. I also work on Project Life, which is a scrapbooking project where I track what happens in a week's time period through a photo journaling type thing. And so I will track my progress on that as well. One of the things that I am planning to work on is I got a new computer, and I have not been able to get my emails transferred from my old computer to my new computer. So for Monday, that is going to be one of my projects that I'm going to put on the calendar, because it's very important right now that I get those emails off the old computer and onto the new one. So I'm going to put that here, move the emails. Now, I also often have doctor's appointments. Those are on here. I've added some other things that we do, like Wednesday is National Travel Advisors Day. So I will probably create some blog posts or something that goes along with that, because I am a travel agent. And then on Thursday is our crafting Zoom, and I will post the information for that if you are interested. And we get together and Zoom and craft while we're all there together online. And so that is on my calendar. And then Saturday is National Scrapbook Day, which is a big holiday we celebrate in my house. So I will have some more activities going on with that. So I have that on there. And then we know that Sunday is Mother's Day. And so I have scheduled an event there for Mother's Day. So I will look back and forth between my tending lists, and I will use not only the PowerSheets tending list, which I showed you, but I will also use this cleaning checklist and any other checklists or tending lists that I have, and I will schedule those items out onto my calendar. And then that way I know that I can get these things done. So for instance, I believe I am having coffee with my friend Susan on Tuesday. So I'm going to write that on there as well. And then I will add that to my planner as I get to that part. But I really like to put everything in this big brain dump area, because that helps me look at the big picture of all the things I need to do. And then I can prioritize. And speaking of that, if you have a really busy schedule, like I sometimes do, I highly encourage you to use what is called an Eisenhower matrix. And this is something that Christen introduced me to a while back. And it is a great way to prioritize your tasks by how important and how urgent they are. So for instance, if I know that I have an important meeting at work on Monday, I'm going to put it on important and urgent. Or if I know that there's a leak in the bathroom and I need to call the plumber, it's going on important and urgent. But if I need to plan my husband's birthday party, it might go on important but not urgent, because I can do it later in the week or even next week. And then there's also items that are not important, but they're urgent. So if there's a blog that needs to be proofread or something like that, and maybe it's not due for a few days, I will put it on here, and I can either assign that to somebody else. I can say, hey, Christen, can you proofread this blog? Or I can schedule it for a later time, so I know it's there. Now, the last part of this is a great little section, and it's probably the most empty section on mine, but this is the not important and not urgent section. And that's where I put things that are not important and they're not urgent, but I just want to do them, or I feel like I should do them. So I will often put things on here, and those things tend not to get done. It's kind of like a bonus area. So if you get done with all the other things, you can come back to this and do some of those things. And as someone was mentioning yesterday in one of our blogs, they called it a goal stretch. So if you can get through all your things, you're stretching for that goal right there. And yeah, I don't always get there. Usually I don't, but at least it's there, and I can keep them on the list rotating through until they do become either urgent or important or both. Yes, Christen, you are muted. Oh, you're not supposed to be muted. Why are you muted? There we go. I don't know how you got muted.
My dog was squeaking a toy, so I muted myself, and then I realized I couldn't unmute myself. I just wanted to pop in and mention that if you have squirrel brain or monkey mind, that box down there is really important, because when you're thinking about or trying to focus on something really important, and those other things, like, you know, it's April right now, but if you're like, oh, I want to get my mom this thing for Christmas, it would go there.
Yeah.
get it out of your head, write it down in that box,
Yes.
use that box to write it down so that you
Yes.
can get it out of your mind and
Yes.
onto paper, and you don't forget, because once December comes around, you would have been like, oh, what was that really cool gift I wanted to get her, but it wasn't important at the time or urgent. But you
Yes.
move it to that box, and then if you keep using that every month or every week, you just move the things around in the boxes as needed, because at some point the things in box 4 do become important and urgent.
Mhm.
Like relaxation, at some point it is necessary to relax and
Yes.
meditate and things like that. So
Yes.
you know, if those things come up in your mind, write them down, because you might, like your stretch goal, you might be able to work them in this month, but if you can't, you can always have them there as a footnote to work on later. I just
Yeah.
want to put in and say
And
that.
I do keep, as she was mentioning, I keep an Eisenhower matrix in my planner. I just punched holes in it and stuck it right in my planner so that I can add things on there that I need to get. And you see on there, mani-pedi. I've been saying I need a mani-pedi for months now. I haven't done it yet. It's not important. It's not urgent, but I put it on there because eventually if I keep reminding myself, it will get there. And actually I can cross off a couple of those because they did become important and I did wind up taking care of those. So one of the other things I like to do, this is a great brain dump thing. And I like that term because when you're doing a brain dump, you're really just getting all of that stuff out of your head, like Christen said, because if you can get it on paper, and particularly if you can get it on paper in an organized way, then you can control it. If all of your brain dump stuff is in one place, you can't forget it because it's there. All you have to do is go back to it. So one of the things that I found was also another brain dump, and this is a list, and I have the link here. I will read the link to you. Christen, can you look up, please? It's tinyurl.com. Are you ready? YXY9NZXA. I cannot remember the girl's name, but she does a great little planner thing. And she came up with this brain dump list, and someone sent it to me and I printed it off, and I just keep it right here in my planner. So as I'm going through all of the things that I need to work on, I can come over here and use this list to help me remember the things I probably forgot. So this has like things for the home, like organizing projects, home maintenance, home repairs. Oh gosh, I need to call the AC company and have them come do the spring maintenance on my air conditioner. Or I need to get the yard work guy to come a different day and do something. These are all things that I look through this list to see if I've forgotten something. And so there's home projects, there's errands like the post office or the library. How many times have you gone around and forgotten to take a library book back? I know that's not a thing as much anymore, but I do it all the time, or I used to do it all the time. So, I'll have a letter and I keep forgetting to mail it. So here's the trip to the post office. So there's all these things that help you. Here's the bills, here's the emails and phone calls that you need to make, vet visits, doctor's appointments and things. And so I highly encourage either using this list or finding another list or making a list of your own of things that will help you remember the things in your life. And like I say, I just go through this list every week and jot down on my Eisenhower planner what I need to do. And then I can take this and prioritize those items. So when I'm ready to prioritize the items on the Eisenhower matrix, what I will do between the tending list, I've taken the tending list, I've taken the brain dump, I've added these things onto these categories, however they fit on there. And then I will take those important urgents. That's where I'm always going to start. I'm going to take this list and prioritize those within that category. And the ones that are the most important, the ones that have to happen on Monday, that's what's going, I'm just going to write them down on here. This is just another dump list. Whoops. And what happened here? Whoops, I just lost my
Timer.
There we go. Timer on my light went out. Sorry about that. So I will work on this and, off of this list. This is just a sheet that helps me keep it tracked by day. You can use any method you want, but this way I know it's going on that day. And so I will just go through this list and write those things down on here for whatever day they are applicable. And then I will start looking at these two lists and figure out what needs to be put on here as well. And once I get through the whole list, if I have room for this stuff, I'll add it in. If not, it just stays on the list until next week. So eventually I will wind up with this having a lot of different activities and things on it. And then I can move those into my planners. But I always start here first because I don't want to put things on my planner and then find I have to take it off or something else is more important. So it's easier to just do it for me to do it here on scratch paper, which my scratch paper happens to be a calendar. And then I move it into the planner. So I've gone back, I will go back and forth with that tending list. I will go back and forth to the cleaning checklist that I have in here. I will go back and forth to the calendar several times until I'm satisfied that I've gotten everything that I need on there. And you can see I don't have a whole lot on here for this coming week. We're a little bit premature in planning this because I normally do it on Sunday and I'm not quite ready to look at some of that stuff, maybe. I don't know. So it'll probably get a little bit more filled out as I get closer to the week, but that's where I start. And then I can move things into my planner. Now I'm going to show you something kind of weird and crazy that I did with my planner. I know a lot of people like to take their planner and use the stickers and all that stuff. And I used to do that a lot. I bought all the stickers from Happy Planner and every kind of other sticker that you can imagine. I have tons of them and I love putting them in there and decorating my planners. But I found a way that was a little bit faster for me and a little more consistent, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So I've pulled my planner pages out and I'm going to put them under here so you can see what I've done. But I have actually, just like with my little tending list I did here, I got in Photoshop and I created a template for my Happy Planner. And this template has bullet points because I was always struggling to find enough bullet points to use because they only give you so many in every sticker pack. And I use a ton of bullet points every single day because I plot out every little action item that I do. So, and then there's certain things that are on there every day. Right now I'm in the middle of doing some bookkeeping and taxes. So that is an everyday, this is on my mind. And you can see, I just made this go all the way across both sheets. I also recolored this part and put in what kinds of activities I tend to do on that day. So like on Mondays, I tend to make calls and emails for my businesses or for our personal life, in addition to doing my chores. Then on Tuesdays, I run all my errands because I don't want to be away from the office too many days of the week. And then on Wednesday is usually my internet or computer work. So if I have a spreadsheet to make, or I need to update the website or something like that. My Thursdays are crafting. As I mentioned before, I have a virtual crop every week on Zoom. And then, and these little bullets are actually for, I will plan ahead what projects I want to work on for that. Fridays are a bookkeeping day. I will stick with the bookkeeping all day long. I usually reserve Saturdays for bigger projects. And then Sunday is my self-care day. And you can see that I've put Mother's Day on here. I wanted a big block for that. I've got National Scrapbooking Day, which I mentioned on here. I've got bullets for all of the days of the week. And then I'll also put like doctor's appointments and things like that on here, if they are standing appointments and things like that. So over here, these are actually stickers that I have stuck in here, and I have some down along the bottom too. And I'm trying to get where you can see those. These are some fun little stickers. They are, there's several different companies that make them, but here's some that are made by Crafty Creations. And then I have some, you can see I have tons of these because I love bullet points. And so I just buy them in every color I can. And this adds just a little fun, whimsical kind of decoration to my planners. And I also do still use a lot of the Happy Planner stickers. So I've got a lot of these and I will use those. But what I've done with this section here, which is blank, is this is kind of my ongoing projects list. So it's kind of like the not important and not urgent section of the Eisenhower matrix, but it's also not just unimportant things. While we were doing our renovations, what I had up here was things like the renovations was a major project on there. Bookkeeping would be a major list on there. And you can kind of see here, one of my topics from last month was recipes. I had a bunch of recipes and I wanted to add them into my recipe binder. So it was on there to do that. And there's the renovations. I'm trying to finish my December daily. And so I have all these little projects. And that is my kind of running task list of all the projects I'm trying to work on. And then here is where I have also put my menu for the week again. And like I said, the other list is for the family to see, so that when they are wondering what's for dinner, it's on the fridge, they can see it. This is my list, so I remember what we're doing. And then along the bottom here, I usually put whatever tasks I'm doing for Modern Musings. So if I'm editing a podcast or I'm writing a blog or creating some other kind of content, that's what I put in those spots. The other thing that I do, before I do that, I want to show you this, and it's really hard to see, but this printed, and maybe you can see that there was underneath that where it says this week's menu, that was actually a blacked out little, oops, let me get back over there. That was a blacked out section of the planner. I used a whiteout tape, just like this one, and whited that out before I stuck it through my planner. And then my laser printer printed right over that. So that's how I did that, in case anyone is wondering. And so, and then this one is kind of like the section of the Eisenhower matrix for real. This is the things that I don't ever get to, but I'm trying to work it in. So that's where it goes. So after I've put everything on here and figured out what order I put it in, I can just transfer that right over to here. And then it's in my planner for the week. And you can see, I'll show you one of my previous weeks. They're pretty busy, but I went through and I just check things off as I do them. And there's my work it in list. There is my week list right there, the projects list. Here's another week, same kind of deal. I will sometimes add stickers in if I have more things I need to keep track of. And this just works really well for me because I can see at a glance what I need to work on. You can see if I was supposed to do something and apparently it didn't work out, so I changed it. I check mark things off as I get them done. I use the same little stamp. I think this came from a Heidi Swapp. It's either Heidi Swapp or Allie Edwards. I'm not sure, but it was just a little planner check mark thing. And so I just check those off. That's what I use in the planner every week. And that's what I use also on my tending list. And then once I've set up that planner, then I can work on my other planner. And let me get back over to that. I actually keep a health planner. It's also made by Happy Planner, Me and My Big Ideas. And this is just a tracker for health items. And what I do is, you can see this is like this big undivided, they've got some specific categories like priorities and things like that. But I have a lot of health things that I like to track. So I take it and I add washi tape to subdivide all these little categories out. And I just divide these out, and I keep track of some things like sleep, my blood sugars, my personal weight, my steps, and I have subdivisions for my meals and snacks. And so all of those things are easy and right there at a glance for me to look at. And you can just see what that looks like. Really get one that's not shiny. So there you go. That's what it looks like after I've filled it out. It's not very pretty, highly functional. And then that way I can take that into the doctor when I'm working on whatever health thing I'm working on, and she can see what is going on with that. So after I finish off my tending lists and my planners, then I've really got only a couple more things to do. And these are not so much planning, but they are household administration type items. And so I kind of fit those into my planning day. These are one of the projects that I mentioned earlier is Project Life, which is a scrapbooking project using pocket pages. And you kind of take a glance at your week through photos and journaling. And so my maintenance item for that day, for Sundays, is to go download all of my photos off of my phone, my iPad, all of my cameras onto my computer and back them up. And then I can select whichever pictures I want to use for my Project Life. I can send them off to the photo printer, or I can print them out myself, however I decide I want to do that. But doing that makes sure that all my photos get backed up every week. And it's easier to remember what I want to do with those photos if I do it right then, right after it happens, than if I wait a week or two and then try to remember why did I take that picture. So so that's one of the things I do there. Another one is I have several computers that require maintenance and weekly maintenance. And so I will run through the weekly maintenance on my computers. If you have an older Mac, you might remember having to reset your disk permissions. The newer ones don't have to do that, but my old one does. So I will do that. I might back up some files or do some other things like that as well. And then the last little item on this particular list is birthday cards. And when I'm looking through my calendar here, I will note any birthdays I have. And so I see that I have a birthday coming up for a friend of ours, or family or whatever. And if I need to send a card, I will note that. And this little spot here is where I go either select the card or I make the card or something so that I can get that card ready to, and I do not know why that keeps refocusing, but it's annoying. But I will get those cards ready to go so that I can get them in the mail right away. And I will also look ahead to the next week, because if I have a birthday on Monday or Tuesday, I have to remember to mail that card on Friday or Thursday of this week. So I will look at that and then I will mark that down as well. So that is most of my tending list items. Christen, did you have any items that or tasks that you do that I did not cover?
Well, my day planner has a dashboard. I have a different layout than you do.
A little bit different layout. Yep.
Yeah, I have the discs also, but I also have a little bit different layout. So all of my weekdays are on one side, and then I have a dashboard on the other. So this one isn't very well filled out. Let me show you one where I actually like really fully took advantage. Sometimes I get in there and I use it, and then sometimes I forget about it because I tend to have my day planner like this because I have a limited desk. I have a tiny desk. So a lot of times I will kind of forget all about my dashboard. Like this week in March, I didn't even look at it. I didn't even fill anything in it on it. But
I do that too. So
yeah,
COVID did me no favors.
I've been getting better. Let me tell you, there's a page at the beginning of the month, which I think is the one that you have right here that you're showing.
But yes, I
never even used that one, to be honest with you. I always just like would forget to turn and look at it. But I found that these little insert things, I always put one of these in there on the very beginning of the month. And then I put one. I made this one with my laminator, and this is just a daily checklist of things like my daily routine. And I have this on my week.
That is a good point.
And I made this because everybody has their own different daily routine, but I feel like I get thrown off of my routine sometimes. And so I just kind of put this on here so I make sure I remember everything. But so my tending list, like I don't generally have like a lot of errands. Like we do grocery pickup. My husband usually picks that up. So when I'm doing my planning, I make sure to utilize this because this is a really good place to keep you grounded. When you do use it, it helps you. Like there's a spot down here that you can use for anything. Mine says focus on, and a lot of times I'll just remind myself of something. Like if I'm having like a busy week or something, I'll put like the main things that I absolutely have to get done, or something like that I'm wanting to remind myself, like I told myself this week to find joy, because it was kind of like the week was getting kind of monotonous, but one of the things that I do is when I'm planning, I started doing this, like even with like our meal planning, I will go in my phone and make a little calendar invite. While I'm doing my day planner, I will include my husband on certain things that involve him too. And I found that's been kind of helpful, just kind of keeping him in the loop, because he's not necessarily available. When I'm working on my day planner, sometimes he's already asleep for the day. So I'll just send him to his phone, and then that way he gets in the loop. That way my digital and my day planner are all kind of married together. And like I go and I look at my work schedule, make sure like I add my work schedule in there, because mine changes. I know most people have, same kind of schedule every day, but if you have a flexible work schedule, then you might want to consider adding your work schedule in so you can maximize, remind yourself, hey, I have Tuesday off next week. This is the day that I need to take advantage of. So when you're working and taking your stuff off your Eisenhower matrix and putting it on your day planner, you're putting it on the day that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I did. You were talking about the using the calendar on your phone. This actually is synced to my phone. It's also synced to my iPad. And like I said, this came directly off my computer. So it's all the same calendar. And you'll note I have Mother's Day on here, and I have Mother's Day up here as well. One of the things we do is this is actually our family calendar. I have a, where is that up here somewhere? The Murray Family Activities Calendar. And so when Kristen and I plan events together, that is a joint calendar that everyone in the family has access to. And when we plan, for instance, Mother's Day, we have already planned already what we are going to have to eat, where we are going to go, what we are going to do. And we have put all that information on that calendar so that the family can see that. And that is a great way to kind of coordinate with the whole family. We have quite a large growing family. So we have 4 households that participate with us. Well, technically 5 households, if you count my mom, who is in the assisted living. So we have to coordinate a lot of people. And so having that calendar, have all that information is a must have for all of us. So, and then you mentioned your little dashboard, the insert that you made. And I also made a little laminated dashboard insert that I use, and I just use a whiteboard marker to write on it and check things off as I go through my list. And I keep other things in my planner as well. I used to use it as a journaling, kind of a photo journaling thing. So I would put stickers in it, but I would take pictures and put those in there. I don't do that as much, but I do like to, one of my early planners had this front page, which was blank in mine. Well, it's mostly blank. It has lines, but it, for you to use however you want. And then it has some dates down here. But one of my early planners had a little section that said currently doing. And it was things like I'm currently reading, or I'm currently watching, or whatever. And when they took that out of the next year's planner, I missed that. I liked having that little tracker where I can look back and see what I was reading last month, or what I, remember, when did I read that book, So I made this little thing. It's just stuck in here right now. At the end of the month, I will cut this out and I will just paste it onto this page right here. So it's kind of like a glimpse into my life right now. And it just has stuff like reading, watching, listening, pinning, eating, going, celebrating, things that I'm afraid of or whatever. And so that's one of the things that I keep in my planner. It's just kind of a place to vent a little bit, maybe. And then I also have other things that I keep in here. I have, I took a copy of the front of the book and made these little calendar things. And these are to keep up with all of the Modern Musings podcasts and things, episodes and things like that, so I can look at those at a glance.
I think that page is like typically intended for birthdays and holidays, which is really great if you want to track birthdays and holidays.
Which I did do that, and that's why I say I copied it and put a copy in later in the book as well. So I really like this layout for things like that you need to track on a daily basis or whatever. So so I did use it to track all my birthdays, but then I also printed it in black and white just to use later. And then I have I keep things that are like, if the clothing donation people send me a card, I'll put that in there just so I remember it, or so I can contact them or whatever. And I just keep all of that little brain dump sheet that I use. I have a lot of little things like that. And I just keep that right behind the current date. So as I put the new pages that I've just written on into the planner, I'll just put them in front of that section of pages, and then those pages always follow whatever I happen to be working on at the time. So and that's just a way for me to keep track of stuff a little better. So, but that's pretty much it. That's how we do things. And I can open this up. I can let everybody ask questions if anybody has any questions. And let me see if I can make them work.
Are you gonna put your stuff in your day planner?
I will after I get off here. I was going to put those in later. Like I said, I normally do all this. This is a long process. I worked on a lot of it. So, but I will just go through that matrix and write those things out and put them right in there. And I don't think this is asking people to unmute. No, allow press. There we go. There we go. Maybe that worked. So, yeah, I don't know. If you are having problems getting unmuted, please hold up a hand to Christen and let her know, and we will figure out how to make that work.
It looks like everybody's unmuted now. Oh, wait, no.
No. I don't know why it's not doing that. So. I've put that on there for several times. So, oh, there goes one. Hello. Is that Amber?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Amber.
I'm glad you could join us. Did you have any questions, or did anybody else have any questions?
No.
Okay. Did you have anything different that you do with your planner than what we do with ours?
I pretty much do the same thing. I don't do like the meal planning as much as y'all do. I do a lot of budgeting, and then I do a lot of lesson planning in my planner.
And I just read your blog that's going out tomorrow. So yeah, you mentioned a lot of that in your blog. So I hope our listeners or viewers or whatever are looking forward to seeing that. And you can check out Amber's blog tomorrow morning at modernmusings.net. And if there's no questions, then we will close this out. And thank you for joining us. I hope that you learned a little bit from this Plan With Us episode. And if you want to see more about One Little Word, planners, PowerSheets, tending lists, any of that stuff, please feel free to go on over to the blog at modernmusings.net or check out the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And we hope that you'll join us again sometime.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.